Hi everybody, my name is Mr. Nate. Welcome to our online lesson review, grade 6. Today I'm going to be teaching us how to set our page in Microsoft Word and how to add text direction and a few other things in your Microsoft Office. This is basically going to be the last lesson for this particular class, and I hope that after this lesson you will be able to participate in the challenge and score great point for yourself. So what is the next thing? Let's quickly launch our Microsoft Word and see how that works. So like I would always tell you, you locate your start button and then you type Word, W-R-D. So I'm always using Microsoft Office 27. So the first thing I like to do is I like to just title my document. So I'll say lesson, I'll just say private lesson time table. Then I'll move to the next line. So I like to insert my table. So I'm inserting a table. I'll go to insert menu, and then I want to use a table of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. And then how many rows? I like to use 8 rows. So that is good. So for each of the rows, I'll just type Mondays for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, so there's a challenge here. I would like my Sunday to start the column because Sunday is actually the first day of the month of the week. So how I would do that, I won't erase this, I'll just highlight this and then I'll cut. Ctrl X can be used to cut, and then I can paste here. Now I can highlight every of the text again, I can cut, and then I can just paste here. Okay, so I'm done with that. Then the next thing is I'll just say first lesson, next one second lesson, then I'll leave this part for break. Then this one I will call it third lesson. Okay, so there's what we call text direction in table. So what do we mean by text direction? I'm going to show you briefly. So let me drag this a little bit because I don't need so much space here. So I could just drag this. So it's easy to drag it. Once you take your cursor to the line, it will change to either horizontal or vertical depending on where you want to drag. So I want to drag it horizontally, so I'm going to bring, and it will change horizontally. If I want to drag vertically, so this is it, but I'm not doing this. So I'm using the horizontal, then I can easily drag here. So now I want to apply text direction. To apply text direction, all I need to do is to highlight every of the cell here. Then I'll right click, press my right click, then I'll merge cell. I've merged the cell. Now the next thing is I want to put text direction. I'll still right click and then I'll locate text direction here, and then I'll choose the type of text direction I want to use, and then I can now type break time here, break time. So you can see this is what I mean by text direction. So that's how it works. I'm sure you have seen this. I'm sure your school timetable has something that is similar to this. So you can do this you can use this to do any of your table project and all. So basically this is what we call text direction. And then another thing I want to explain to us is we talked about page layout. So you know, the last time I told you that you can use this button to zoom in and zoom out. Zoom in and zoom out. Now this particular document is on landscape, but if I want it on portrait, I can just come to page layout, and then I will go to orientation. I'll select this, and then I can change to portrait. Now you can see this is what portrait looks like. It's different from landscape. So if you look at it, this is portrait. Portrait is more like a tower standing. Then landscape is just like a land, you know, cape, just you can see. So, but I don't like to use landscape. I like to use star. So that is how it works. So I can zoom this out a bit more so that I see what I'm doing. Then I would also, now I want to format my text. There's really nothing much to type today because we did all of the typing last week. So basically I'm just showing you how to add text direction. So we can bold this, we can underline it, we can use bold, we can use center alignment, fine. And then you can go ahead to fill up all the lessons. You can say numeracy, literacy, music, ICT. You can fill up that. Time will not permit me to do all of that in this class. There's another thing I want to quickly show us. So now there's what we call margin. So personally, if I'm typing, I like to use the narrow margin because I don't like the normal margin because it creates too many space here, too many space here, too many space at all of the sides. So I like to use narrow margin. So you can see the space is limited, and then my document is still very fine. Now I have explained what orientation is. I have explained the margins. There are different margins. There's moderate, there's wide, there's mirrored. But all of these, I don't personally use them, except there's a special document I want to type. I prefer to use narrow. Then there's what we call paper size. Okay, so now the regular paper that we use for our exam, that we use for typing documents in school, is called A4 paper. So this is a good example of A4 paper. This is a good example of A4 paper. Now I'm trying to explain this so you understand paper size. But when you put two A4 paper together like this, it becomes A3. Once you put two A4 paper together, it becomes A3. There are some documents that we use A3 for. For instance, your textbook, most of your textbook, they are in A3, so it's folded like this. So when you open, it becomes A3, okay? Now, when you fold this A4 paper into two, like this, now this becomes A5. Do you understand? This becomes A5. When you fold this, there's no A6 paper. There's another name for it, but there's no A6 paper. Now there's another type of paper that we call envelope. Envelope is just like this, so we know. So there are different paper size, but the commonly used paper size is the A4 paper. So if you want to type, you can always choose A4 paper, but usually the default size in Microsoft Word is either letter or A4 paper. Now there's just a little bit of difference between letter and A4 paper. Now if you look at the letter paper, the size is 21.59 centimeter by 27.94 centimeter. If you look at A4, 20 centimeter by 29.7 centimeter. So the difference is really not so much. So that is it. Then the last thing I want to explain to us is column. When we're typing, there's what we call column. So I can decide to use 2 columns. I can decide to use 3 columns. I can decide to use column to the left or column to the right. If you watch newspaper or magazines, you see that they make use of columns a lot. I can just give you an example here by just typing this. I'm not going to type anything meaningful because I don't want to spend so much time typing. So I'm just going to type A. So because I just want to show you how the column work. I just want to quickly show you how the column work. So there are some documents that this works for. So I've just typed nothing meaningful actually. Okay, so I've typed this. So I want to apply column to this. I can highlight everything here, and then I will come to column, and then I'll say 2 column. This is breaking me. Okay, now you know why it's happening in this manner is because there's still a lot of space in first column. So you have to exhaust all the space in the first column before it takes you to the next column. So let me just copy and paste. You have to exhaust the space in the first column. So you can see now I've exhausted all the space in my first column. That's why it has taken me to this second column here. So now I can decide to use 3 columns. So this double column, I can highlight this again, and then I'll go back to column. I can say, okay, I don't want 2 columns, I want 3 columns. So you can see this is 3 columns. Now I can also say I don't want the spacing between is too much. I can reduce the spacing between. Very easy. You highlight it, you go back to column, and then you go to more columns here. Then you can see spacing in between. So you can reduce the spacing. I've reduced it to 1 centimeter. Once you click OK, it will reduce the spacing. It's not so visible, but it has reduced. Let me further reduce it more. Let me reduce it to 5 cm. You can see the space has reduced, further reduced. Now you can even say you want to put line in between columns. Quite easy. You can just come here, you go to more columns, and then there's a place that says line between. So you can see, once you click OK, it will put lines between. So basically this is how to add columns. So these are the basic things in Microsoft Word that you need to know if you're going to be using Microsoft Word for typing. There are still other things, but for this class, this is where we're going to stop for today. I hope you enjoyed today's class. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like the video. See you next time. Bye for now.